Good morning and welcome to Next Point Wins. I am your host, Matthew Geely. Welcome in to the program. Happy to have you here with me. What an exciting day we have planned for you guys. There's plenty to talk about around the sporting world, locally and nationally. A little cold out there today, Purdue University students. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Wednesday, halfway through the week, almost home. Week until fall break, so things are exciting. Coming off of a nice win for the football team last Saturday against Boston College. We'll have full recap of that coming up shortly. But I want to start out with the biggest story of the weekend, and that was Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods wins the Tour Championship, comes in second overall in the FedEx Cup standings to Justin Rose, who wins the Cup. But that was just a weekend where he put everything together. And this is something that I think I've watched. This is probably the seventh tournament in a row I watched Tiger in this year. And it was great to see because he would come out on a Thursday and be sluggish and set himself back for the entire weekend, or he'd come out on fire Thursday and then have so-so Friday and Saturdays and then play really well on Sunday but come up short. He was unable to put together 4 straight rounds, which you can't blame the guy. And I remember on this show, maybe probably it was when he came back on this last comeback tour. I remember seeing him hit golf shots and try to chip it onto a green with water in front, and he was just chunking them into the water. And everybody was like, well, at least he can swing a club. And I remember thinking to myself, this guy needs to worry less about golf and more about just able to be comfortable in his life, in daily life, and just getting by around. Like, I remember they said it was hard for him to get in and out of a car, which that's tough to hear because it's incredible that he's able to come all the way back from that to now. And I definitely didn't see it coming. I was hoping the golf fan and the Tiger fan in me was, and I am a huge Tiger fan, I was hoping that he'd make it back. But realistically, I was just hoping he was able to enjoy life. I mean, 1 back surgery is something. 2 back surgeries is a lot. And to have the back fusion and a 3rd surgery, that's just, it's amazing that he was able to do what he was able to do. He shoots 11 under par, wins the tournament. Didn't have the greatest day on Sunday, but not a lot of people did. But he was still able to find a way to get the win. And now you got the Ryder Cup coming up this weekend. And I know there's a lot of golf buzz around the nation right now. Golf is back to where it used to be, and it's no coincidence that it's Tiger Woods. He moves the needle more than any player moves the needle in any sport. You take LeBron James with the season-ending injury out of the NBA, and it doesn't move the needle as much as Tiger Woods. You take Tom Brady out of the NFL. It's not the same thing. You take Mike Trout. Well, we have seen Mike Trout leave the MLB multiple times due to injury, and it's just he doesn't move the needle like Tiger does in his sport. And nobody, maybe Serena Williams in women's tennis, that's probably the closest comparison I can make to the needle being moved. I mean, Serena brings in a crowd unlike anybody else in that sport. But I can't think of another sport off the top of my head where there's an impact player as much as Tiger Woods, and it's no surprise. There's a video that went out after he won. I don't remember who put it out, so I can't give credit. I saw it on Twitter, and it was Tiger sitting watching a monitor, and it was just a montage of people saying how he can't ever win again, never coming back, never going to be able to play golf again. And it's just Tiger sitting there watching it, and at the end he just looks up and smiles. It gave me chills. It's worth going and find. It's not that hard. Just search Tiger Woods. I'd play it over the radio, but I'm not sure we have the rights to it, and I'm not sure how well it would play. Just hearing it, not be able to see it. I'll tweet out the link after the show, Matt_Geely on Twitter, if anybody wants to watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. Speaking of contacting me, if you want to contact the show, you can at nextptwins@gmail.com. That's where you will find my inbox, where you can send me any questions, comments, or concerns you have in the sporting world, or just in the world in general. If you have an unsportsmanlike conduct, please send that my way as well. We'll get to those here coming up later in the show. I'll also have my picks for this upcoming weekend, as we have some college football and some NFL. So I'll give you 4 college football games and then my NFL special of the week, who I think is maybe a game that you can jump on to I don't know, if you're just looking to have fun, you can have some fun with it. If you're looking to have some financial fun, you can have fun with that too. It's your world. I'm just living in it. So we'll get to that coming up here in a moment. So Ryder Cup starts this weekend. It's overseas, so it's going to be early in the morning. Live coverage is like 1 a.m. 3 to like 10 a.m. So that might be tough to watch, but they'll have replays of it all day long. It's definitely worth taking a minute to watch. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fireworks. Good members on each team. I'll go through. The USA team has Bryson DeChambeau, Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson, Webb Simpson, Patrick Reed, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Bubba Watson, and Tiger Woods. And on the other side for Team Europe, as my computer freezes as I try to get to it, they have Paul Casey, Tommy Fleetwood Mac, a.k.a. Fairway Jesus, Sergio Garcia, Tyrell Hatton, Rory McIlroy, Francesco Molinari, Alex Noren, Bjorn Olsen, Ian Poulter, John Rahm, Justin Rose, and Henrik von Stenson. So those are your Ryder Cup teams. U.S. is definitely going to be the favorite going into this, especially after Tiger Woods and his recent surge. There's a lot of momentum for that U.S. team on that side. But they're going to walk into the Lions' Den. It's the closest thing to a non-golf match you'll ever see. It's the way that a lot of us casual golfers would love to play, where you can heckle, yell, scream, get fired up after shots. There's going to be fireworks. It's going to be fun. Anytime you have Patrick Reed out there and Rory McIlroy, those two like to go back and forth a lot, and it's going to be a good time. Speaking of Rory McIlroy, we'll have him coming up here in a moment. Not in studio. He's not coming on as a guest. Shocker. But he made some headlines in an unfortunate way, and we'll get to that coming up at about 10:30. He's a proud member of the unsportsmanlike conduct team this week, so we'll get to Rory then. All right, Purdue football. I know all you students on campus walking to class, anybody who has a 10:20, they want me to get to the Purdue stuff before they got to go in and sit down and learn something today. That's fine. I'll do it right now. Purdue beats Boston College. Raise your hand if you saw this one coming. My hand is not raised. This was a very interesting effort out of the Purdue Boilermakers. And it's not one that I saw coming. Coming into the game, I saw Boston College. They got up to being ranked like I thought they would. By the time they came to West Lafayette, they were ranked 23rd at the time. And I thought that we were going to have major problems on defense. I thought that stopping Dillon, their star running back, who's going to be a absolute monster in the NFL for years to come, I thought stopping him was going to be a problem that we weren't going to be able to solve. And I was afraid that he was going to be too much. We'd get down too much early. They would control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, control the time of possession, and run away with it. I had it as a 2-touchdown game the other way. I thought we were going to be in deep trouble. Oh, the contrary. There's one point of this that I forgot to take into consideration, and that is the genius, the power, and the football knowledge of Coach Nick Holt. Coach Holt deserves so much credit for this win. He deserves so much credit for this turnaround that we've had these last year and a half. I know we're 1-3, and I know that we lost a couple nail-biting games at home. But Coach Holt has helped turn this program around. He is 1A to 1B. He is right there with Coach Braum as huge reasons why this team is successful. And he showed it again. He got that defense ready to play. He knew from the get-go, they were like, we're going to stop Dillon to the best of our ability. He's so good. We're going to try our hardest to stop him and make Brown, the quarterback, throw it. And boy, did he have trouble throwing the ball. 13 of 27, 96 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions. Not good. Blau on the other side, who has earned the start this week. Sindelar was questionable to play against Boston College. He is available this week against Nebraska, but we're going with Blau. He went 21 of 28, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. Took care of the ball, took care of the offense, took him down the field, managed the game, and did really well. DJ Knox was our leading running back with 20 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. And then Rondell Moore, 8 receptions, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rondell Moore is going to continue to grow in this offense, and he's going to hopefully make other recruits around the country look at Purdue and think, wow, that would be really fun to play in, because they get him the ball in so many different ways and change up the offense so much for him that he's able to get the ball in space. He's able to get the ball down the field. He's able to make plays. He kick returns. He punt returns. He is going to be an absolute star. He already is. Definitely probably one of the front runners for freshman Big Ten Player of the Year. And he's just having monster games. You see him kind of hide, and then you see him come and have monster games. And that's just the maturity level and trying to figure out for Purdue. It's equal to on Purdue as it is on him, where you gotta, and they're not separate. I'm not trying to say they're separate, but the game plan in him, it takes a while to figure out how you're gonna get this guy the ball in space enough to where he can make a lot of plays. So it's part that, and it's part him being a freshman, and sometimes it doesn't go his way in some games, and sometimes coverages confuse him or are too much for him to handle. But that's something that's just going to get better with time. Marcus Bailey had his best game on defense, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. He was huge in stopping the run game, and we knew he had to be all year long. I mean, he is the mainstay on that side of the ball. Dieneman had a good day. Jones had a good day. Barnes had a good day. The linebackers played really, really well. And it was a testament to stop. I mean, Dillon had 59 yards rushing. He averaged 3 a carry. His longest was only 11. You'll never see him put up numbers like that all year, ever. He'll never put up numbers that low ever again this year. There's no way. I mean, against UMass, he had 98 yards. Against Holy Cross, he had 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. Against Wake Forest, he had 185 yards and a touchdown, and then 59 yards. So he's had 2 games over 100 yards. He was only 2 yards short to having all 3 of his games being over 100-yard games. I mean, last year he had 300 attempts, 1,589 yards, 14 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just an absolute superstar. Superstar. And as a sophomore, he's only going to get better, and he's going to be amazing in the NFL. But the Boilermakers did a great job stopping him and making that offense do something different. It was the first time we've seen them have to adjust and not us. It's the first time that our game plan dictated how we played and not their game plan dictating how we play. And it showed. It showed because we are very, very successful. Very successful on both sides of the ball. So now we look ahead. We travel to Nebraska in a game we're favored by 3.5. Nebraska team that was picked ahead of us by a lot of people in the offseason to finish in the Big Ten. And first-year head coach Scott Frost from UCF has had a little trouble with his squad so far this year. They've yet to get a win. He had some interesting words to say in his press conference on Monday about his team and about the opportunity to play Purdue. Happened to mention that this was a winnable game. First game that he knew that his squad could come out and absolutely win. I'm gonna go grab the direct quote he said, because it was interesting to say the least. And as I look it up, I will say that this is I don't know if it's a make or break week for Purdue. I mean, I thought that after losing to Missouri, a bowl game was very much out of the question. But now you look at the schedule, and it quickly goes from out of the question to could easily be a 3-3 team. I mean, you look at it and you lose to Northwestern, you lose to Eastern Michigan, you lose to Missouri, you beat Boston College. Next you have Nebraska and Illinois, two very winnable games that you'll be favored in. That gets you back to 3-3. And then, you got the gauntlet of Ohio State and Michigan State. That's two tough ones. But you still have Iowa and Minnesota. That can get you to 5. And then IU, that's your 6th. Or you got to shock Ohio State, Michigan State, or Wisconsin. You got to shock one of them. So Husker coach Scott Frost on Purdue, and I quote, "We get a game that we can win." Coach Scott Frost, "I want to be the first to congratulate you on your win against Purdue. You will have many more." That's somebody talking to him. Braum responded to Frost saying that we have a game that we can win. Braum responds saying, "Everything that's said is heard, and our team needs to respond." So, gets a little saucy. Frost came back yesterday talking about how great Coach Braum was and how great of a team this was and how tough of a matchup it's going to be, trying to kind of backtrack a little bit there on some of his comments. He had a couple more quotes that I don't know, I can't find at the moment, and I'm not going to spend the time to do it at this time. But that just gives you a gist of it. Let's just say that he was very confident in his squad and very confident that they're going to get a win on Saturday. And, well, we'll see. So Blau will be your starter. Sindelar will be in relief if needed. And it's a great week of football. While we're on the topic of college football, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and give you my picks of the week. You might be thinking, man, Matt, you're really kind of slow here. That's because my computer is killing me right now. Also, speaking of which, as my computer loads, sorry about last week. Missed you guys. Didn't have a show. Station renovation could fall under the unsportsmanlike conduct category, but I'm not going to be bitter about it. Let's just say, you know what? Let's pick this beef real quick. So, station goes under some renovations. Look around. Well, a couple of things are done. Not a whole lot. That's not neither here nor there. And happens on Wednesdays. A random Wednesday morning. Station renovation. Station closed. That's interesting. That happened to me last semester. I had to cancel a couple shows because of renovation in the station. One of these times, I need to come down here during one of these station renovations. I'll do the show right outside, and we can have some renovation talk in the daily talk show. But I mean, guy gets number one show for what is this now? Hour. This is our 5th semester being the number one show. Yep, 5th semester being the number one show. Thanks to you guys, most importantly. And I get less chances to show off my skills. Can't help but think that might be connected. It's all right. This Next Point Wins Army is strong. I know they will tune in week and week out, and we will continue to set the precedent for sports talk show and radio shows on this campus. So, no more renovation delays. I don't care if they kick me out. I will sit outside on the floor with my trusty little recorder, and we will do a show, and we're gonna do it. This is it. That was the last straw. Last week was the last time we're going to let some renovation, air quotes, stop us. All right. I'll get off my soapbox, but I kind of got my goat. I'm going to be honest with you. It kind of got me. All right, here we go. Noon, West Virginia at Texas Tech. That's 12th ranked West Virginia at 25th ranked Texas Tech. West Virginia favored by 3.5. Two teams that can't stop anybody. Welcome to the Big 12. I don't know what the over-under is on this game, but it's unless it's in the it's got to be in the 60s, because that is going to be, an absolute shootout. I had to imagine. West Virginia comes in with just a very impressive offense led by a strong quarterback. And then on the other side, Texas Tech, their quarterback, Alan Bowman, he's already thrown for 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns this year, which is outrageous. But that's just the way that league goes, is it quickly turns into an absolute track meet when they start facing each other. Yeah, 3.5 is the line. I'm looking for the over-under. Oh, they don't have it out yet. That makes sense. It's a little far away. I'll take West Virginia on the road to get the win. They're going to beat them by 7. West Virginia by 7. There's one. Number 2. Oh, Ohio State at Penn State. Buckeyes come in 4-0. 1-0 in the Big Ten. Penn State 4-0, 1-0 in the Big Ten. Penn State had one scare against Appalachian State. Ohio State already has a nice win against TCU on their resume. Ohio State 3.5-point favorites on the road. There's a theme here about road teams and being favorites. Oh, man. I like Ohio State in this game. I really do. I think Haskins is getting close to really good. That defense is very underrated for Ohio State. And I'm not 100% sold on the weapons around McSorley, and I'm not sure they can be enough to counter this Ohio State defense. They're allowing 17 points a game. Like, that's out of this world. Penn State's only at 19.5. Their defense is really good as well. But I think Ohio State has more weapons on offense, and I think they really do have a better quarterback, and it's going to show when it's all said and done. So I'm going to take Ohio State by 4. Ohio State by 4 beats Penn State, continues to control their own destiny to the playoff. Stanford at Notre Dame. 7th ranked Stanford, 8th ranked Notre Dame. This should be a no-brainer for you loyal listeners of Next Point Wins, because we went in great detail on Notre Dame and their schedule after their ginormous, air quotes, win over Michigan to start the year. This is a game I had on my list that Notre Dame's going to lose, and I stand by that 100%. Notre Dame is favored by 5.5 at home. I would jump on Stanford and take that all the way. Oh, I would pounce on Stanford. Just absolutely tackle them to the ground. Stanford, Stanford, Stanford. Stanford by, I want to say double digits, but that's just me getting a little cocky. Oh, man. Oh, this is tough. You guys, this is why you guys pay me the big bucks, to give you these scorching hot takes. Stanford, by the way, Stanford had a great comeback win against Oregon last week. That was a game that Oregon was up in the third and fourth quarter by like 21. They came back to beat Oregon in overtime, 38-31. That was in Eugene. Game day was there. Tough win on the road. So you might think, ooh, let down. No. This dancing tree is going to keep that rolling to South Bend, and they're going to win it by a final score of 28-14. 28-14 in a low-scoring defensive power struggle. I will say, though, that Notre Dame quarterback, Winbush, who came in last week in he took over the starting job. He looked really good last week. I'll give him that. But no, 28-14, Stanford stomps on Notre Dame at home. I'll take 28-27. I'll take 28-26. I'll take 28-27 and a half. Just Stanford, 28-14. Purdue, Nebraska. Boilers favored by 3.5. Going to Lincoln, whose corn is better. It's going to be a bad day to be corn, especially in Nebraska. Boilermakers win it 35-21. Purdue by 14. And your one special NFL pick of the week. My lock, upset style. Give me the Brownies on the road to beat Oakland. Get on that game now. Oakland favored by 2.5 against the Browns at the moment. Over-under set at 45. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But Brownies on the road get the win against Oakland. I'm drinking the Cleveland Kool-Aid, man. I'm drinking it. They got a huge win last week. Let's go right into NFL right now because now I'm fired up. Cleveland Browns. Open up the beer fridges. Pass out the Bud Light. Cleveland Browns get a win. Baker, the touchdown maker. Going to get the start over Tyrod this weekend. Tyrod coming off of, I think it's a concussion. Baker looked good. Baker looked good. Can you keep it going? I don't know. It's a great game to try to keep it going against. Raiders defense is no good. Just not a good defense. So he has a really good opportunity to kind of keep the momentum going, which is I think why he gets to start. And I think the Browns, this is a shocker. This should be like breaking news. The Browns are playing this pretty well the way that they did this. You probably didn't want Baker coming into that game. Everybody on TV, everybody in the broadcast booth and at the NFL Network was begging for Baker to come into that game. I mean, they mentioned it multiple times. They probably showed him on the sidelines 4,000 times. You could just tell that everybody wanted him to come in. But I really didn't think, if Tyrod doesn't get hurt, I don't think Baker comes in that game, no matter how bad Tyrod was playing, because it just didn't make sense. Now, I think if there was a great chance that if Tyrod finished that game and continued to play as poorly as he was, that Baker would be starting this week against Oakland, no matter if he was healthy or injured. But he came in relief and he played really well. But we've seen this with quarterbacks in the NFL for years. I mean, this is like one of the oldest tricks in the book. You bring a guy in at halftime or near half. He comes out in the second half, lights the world on fire, plays extremely, extremely well. But then he has to turn around and have an entire week to prepare and a 10-day week to prepare because they played on Thursday night. So he has extra time to prepare, to think about it, to get ready, and then he comes out and he kind of struggles in the game after. It's something about the mental aspect of it, I think. I think Baker's different. I will say that. He's a different human. His brain works differently. You can just tell that he doesn't operate the same way that the rest of us do sometimes. That competitive nature in him, it's different. But he's going to have a chance to win this job. And I love watching the Browns. I'm brainwashed because of Hard Knocks and all that stuff, but they're just fun to watch. Their defense is phenomenal. Myles Garrett is the real deal. You got Njoku at tight end, who's been great. You get rid of Gordon because you finally had enough of that circus, so you get rid of that. Landry's a big-time player. Callaway is a budding superstar. This team's close to really, really good. Hyde runs the ball exceptionally well. Had a great game on Thursday night. Able to take the pressure off of Baker in the second half and get good, strong runs. So, yeah, I'll take the Browns over the Raiders by 10. Those are my picks of the week. When we come back, we'll do an unsportsmanlike conduct. We're just going to step aside for one quick moment to get in a couple commercials here that we have to get in, and we'll be back. This is Next Point Wins. Welcome back to Next Point Wins. If you're just joining the show, thanks for coming in. Take off your shoes, stay a while. Still have a half an hour left of our weekly sports talk here on WCCR Purdue in the West Lafayette area. Also, you can listen on the TuneIn app. If you're listening live, you're probably doing that somewhere else. That's on WCCR Purdue on the TuneIn app. Listen live next week, 10 a.m. on Wednesday. We'll have recap of Purdue against Nebraska. We'll have their upcoming matchup against Illinois previewed, plus all that's going on. We'll have Ryder Cup recap. We'll have MLB baseball playoff races, NFL, college football. It's a great time to be a sports fan. Foliage starting to come in. You can see those leaves starting to turn. It was a little brisk this morning. Nothing grabs my goat like a little foliage. It's that time of year. About to throw on some chili, grill some dogs, and get ready for an exciting weekend of football. Can't wait. A lot of great games on the slate, NFL and college, plus Ryder Cup action. It's a 3 TV type of weekend. So break out the splitters. Break out the bunny ears. It's going to be very, very fun. Okay, unsportsmanlike conduct. If you're new to the show, I take 2, 3, 4, depending on how many we have each week. And this is excuse me. This is sports related, and this is just life related lessons that people need to know. This is, if you see something that's not right, and somebody's doing something that is wrong, you need to send it in to me, and we'll call them out. Because the best way to learn, you have to bring it to their attention. If they don't know, they're not going to fix it. So, here are unsportsmanlike conducts.
And now, an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Personal foul, number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a horrible call!
Alrighty, let's start in the sporting world. First one, and I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. It comes to us from Mr. Rory McIlroy. Rory, when asked at the Ryder Cup, he's on Team Europe this weekend. Rory was asked by reporters if the team is going to Rory was asked by reporters how much special attention Tiger Woods is going to get from their team and how many eyes are going to be on him coming up this weekend. And Rory responded saying that it would be silly to pay special attention to Tiger. He's just one player on the 12-man team. He's just one member. We have to worry about the whole team, not just Tiger. Just Tiger does not matter. Okay, a couple little shots in there, Rory. This is why Rory gets an unsportsmanlike conduct, because he's been on the record for the past 3 years. He's one of the guys, and it's not just him, there's multiple, and they can feel this way all they want, where they were openly rooting for Tiger to get back to where Tiger used to be, a.k.a. where he's very close to being now. And during the time where Tiger was in the dumps, Rory was on record saying that he wants to go against the best Tiger. He wants to compete against the best players at their best times, and he would not shy. He's not wanting to shy away from the big moment. And you know what? For golf fans, Tiger Woods leaving the sport for that short time actually was like, for golf, it was perfect for golf, because with Tiger gone, we were able to have Rory take over the spotlight. Justin Spieth, Justin Rose, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Jason Day for a little bit, Ricky Fowler, I mean, now you have 6, 7 guys who are Dustin Johnson, who are superstars in the sport and very, very good. And none of it would have happened. They might have increased their play, but the role that Tiger was on before it all fell apart, nobody would have came close to him for a long time. Nobody. If he would have kept on his current track that he was on before it all fell apart, nobody, none of those names, maybe Rory and maybe Johnson or Spieth. But other than that, but nobody would have been anywhere near Tiger. But now, with him gone, golf fans turned to these other players and started to get to know them and like them and watch them compete at a high level and get better and get really good. And now Tiger's back in it with them, and it's just the perfect recipe for just the most entertaining golf you'd ever watch. And I know there's probably people at home like, this is the most golf, Matt, you've ever talked about, and it's a boring sport, and I hate it. I think you people out there who are saying that right now into your radio stations and into your headphones, listening to me on the podcast, which you can find on YouTube, SoundCloud, Next PT Wins, Next Point Wins on YouTube, also Matt_Chuli on Twitter. He'll tweet out links. You're listening to this podcast and you're saying, I don't care about any of this. I think you're in the minority now. I think that this sport is growing quickly. I mean, across the nation, tee times are going to be harder to get. And that's not just me trying to be funny. It's the legit truth. Like, people want to play golf now. Golf is becoming a major sport. And it's because of Tiger. It's because of these other superstars that are so fun to watch. Yeah, you might think the game is kind of boring, but the way the coverage is nowadays, where you have multiple stations for multiple golfers, and you have feature groups, and you have different holes that are targeted. I mean, there's fun ways to watch. You can flip around and go shot to shot, and it's very entertaining, especially if you start getting some rooting interest and have some fun rooting these guys on. It's just a good time. So where does this unsportsmanlike conduct come in? I know that was long-winded, but I want to get that point across. So why does Rory McIlroy get unsportsmanlike conduct for talking like that? Well, sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is. And the big stage swallowed Rory up and spit him out like you would never have believed. Rory went into Sunday in second place. He comes out of it and tied for 7th, shoots a 74 on Sunday. Bogeys 4, 5, 8, 4, and 14. Double bogeys 7. Birdies 6 and 18 to finish with a 74. Plus 4 in his Sunday round. That was with Tiger, alongside Tiger. That moment chewed him up and swallowed him. Just absolutely ate him up. So, I mean, if I was him, I would be taking a little bit more time and spending a little more attention to Tiger, or maybe just keep Tiger, maybe just avoid it. I get you gotta give respect to the entire team, but Tiger's gonna warrant some extra attention because whoever plays with him this weekend is gonna be walking into a lion's den. It's gonna be an absolute electric factory walking up and down those fairways with Tiger. And hopefully whoever it is holds on to their hat because it's going to get wild. I think that Rory should have, if he wants another shot at it, another crack at it, he should match up against him. Let's do it again because that was ugly for Rory. Unsportsmanlike conduct to him. Second unsportsmanlike conduct was just sent into me about 10 minutes ago. Literally, as the unsportsmanlike conduct music was going, this one was sent to me from Joe in San Antonio, a UTSA alum. Joe messages in and sends me a tweet from Adam Schefter that says, Buccaneer safety Chris Conte, the victim of Vance McDonald's stiff arm, played with a torn PCL Monday night per source. Conte gutted it out and honestly shouldn't have played. He will now be sidelined the next 6 weeks, resting an injury he played with versus Steelers. Oh, man. I don't buy that for a second. If you didn't see the highlight of Chris Conte getting put through the turf, you got to go look at it. It's a backup tight end, Vance McDonald, who's just as wide as he is tall, catches this ball, going with a full head of steam, takes his hand, puts it right into the sternum of Conte, and just literally puts him down like a little boy, runs over him, and goes 60-some yards for a touchdown. And you're telling me that he was hurt before that play? No. What hurt was when you found your shoulder go through the turf by a grown man. That's what hurt you. Oh, man, that's the biggest cop-out scapegoat I've ever heard. Never am I buying that. Unbelievable. He's going to be on a highlight. He has so many highlight reel plays. He's probably the biggest highlight reel guy in the NFL. And when I say highlight reels, I don't mean his own. I mean on other people's. He gets run over, jumped on, stiff-armed more than any other player I've ever seen. I thought he was out of the league. He used to drive me up a wall when he was with the Bears. Oh, I couldn't stand him. Nobody could. He was the worst. Couldn't cover air. Couldn't tackle. And it's one thing if you're not good, but you can hide. He was so bad that you saw plays like this where he was like, it's like you're so close to being good enough to be good, but you still stink. And you're still horrible. And so you get so close and then you get embarrassed because you're in the moment and then you get put through the turf. Hurt before the game. Give me a break. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Chris Conte. Just sad. Sad effort. I don't know if he has children, but can you imagine like going home after that game and like your kids are at home and they just saw you get put through the turf? I can't, he's making millions of dollars. He's probably very happy. He probably has a beautiful life, but I just can't there's like certain it's the same thing with like rock stars, like after a concert, like or show, going home to their kids. Like I don't know how that works. Like I don't know how like the mindset is like. It's just a world that I don't know. But like after a highlight like that was shown about 40,000 times on social media and SportsCenter and during the game, I'm not sure how you go home and like you got your little kid there. He's like, Dad, you got ran over, man. I don't know. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Chris Conte, unbelievable. Third one. Thanks, Joe. By the way, thanks, Joe. Joe's the loyal listener of the show. He does some work behind the scenes for me as well. Big fan of Joe. Joe's a we'll call him one of the sergeants of the Next Point Wins Army. Big fan of Joe. Thanks, Joe. Okay, next. This one, if you follow me on Twitter, it was tweeted out yesterday afternoon as like a preview of Unsportsmanlike Conduct for the day. And this one, I'm probably the most fired up out of anyone we've had so far because it was appalling. So I'm a current resident at the Hub, which is the apartment complex right behind Harry's Chocolate Shop here on campus. Brand new building. They got a nice gym. They got a pool. Love it. Love the place. That's not the unsportsmanlike conduct. The unsportsmanlike conduct what happened while in the gym yesterday. So I'm there getting a workout in, and there's 3 guys in there with me. It's not a huge gym, but it's big enough to where like you're not like on top of each other. And I look over, and they're all wearing flip-flops, like sandals. No socks, just open-toed sandals, lifting. Now, I wouldn't call them, by the looks of them, I wouldn't say they were regular gym goers. Actually, not at all. The very opposite, just the way they didn't know how anything worked or what they were throwing, the iron they were throwing around. I wouldn't exactly call them day-to-day gym operators, but still. And they got these flip-flops on, and I took a photo of them, and I was not even very non-discreet about it because I was begging for one of them to ask why I did it, because my whole thing is you got to know to fix it. If you don't know it's wrong, you're not going to fix it. So I wasn't even trying to hide the photo, but you just can see all 3 of their feet and just wearing flip-flops, and it's appalling. It really is. Okay, let's start here. Not a big feet guy to begin with in general. Not huge on them. Actually hate them. Like if you don't wear shoes on an airplane and you like let your bare feet, like you're sitting like Indian style and you got your bare feet up like that, or you like cross-legged and you got your bare foot in the air, drives me up a wall. I think that it should be legal. If you're outside of your own home and you're not in a pool or in or near a body of water, it should be illegal to wear flip-flops, especially with no socks. Now, you shouldn't wear flip-flops with socks. That looks ridiculous. I think shoes are the way to go, or like a nice like sandal, I guess. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I just can't stand it. Definitely not in the gym. That should be like rule number one. No one wants your sweaty, bare feet walking around in the gym. And not only that, and this is not nice, and I'm aware of that, and there's there's a lot of things that go through my head that probably aren't very nice, but hey, I'm human. I openly root for guys like that. Like those three guys, I was rooting. Like I was spending more time rooting for them than I was working out myself yesterday. I was rooting for one of them to drop a dumbbell on their toe and break it, or break their foot. Now I don't want them to not be able to walk again. Like let's not get out of this isn't out of control. I'm just saying that dumb people deserve dumb things to happen to them, because in order for dumb people to quit being dumb, they have to know they're being dumb and face the consequences of being dumb. So I needed one of them to drop a weight on their foot and break it, or have like a deep bone bruise to where they were going to have trouble walking away, because I was disgusted. And I was thinking I would never drop a weight on somebody's foot on purpose, but if they gave me one chance to like line up their feet and just drop one from about waist high, like a 30-pound weight on their foot, I would have done it. If they would have asked me to, which I don't know why they would, but if they ever would be like, hey, would you mind? No, I would not mind. I would do it in a heartbeat. You wear shoes in the gym. They're gym shoes. That's the name of them. And I know you might think, okay, if you have a 50-pound weight and you drop it on your foot and you're wearing a shoe, that's still going to hurt. You're right, it is. But you know what? You have a better chance of surviving that than you do a 50-pound weight, which, trust me, these guys ain't throwing up no 50s. A 5-pound weight on your bare foot. Give me a break. Oh, it drove me up. It ruined my day. It really did. It ruined my day. And I was so close to telling them that they should have shoes on that I couldn't even stand it. I was so close to doing it. I didn't. I hope one of you are listening to the show. If you live in the hub and you worked out yesterday at 3 o'clock, I'm trying to remember if that, 3:30. If you were in the hub at 3:30 on 9/25/2018 and you didn't have shoes on, you get this unsportsmanlike conduct, and you deserve to have a weight dropped on your foot and break your foot. And if you live in the hub, but you weren't there at that time, but you know other people that lived in the hub, I challenge you today to ask them, hey, were you by chance working out yesterday at 3:30 in the hub gym with no shoes on? And if they say yes, tell them unsportsmanlike conduct and you need to break your foot. Break your foot and get better. Unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, that's it. I need a minute to cool off. Wow, that got my goat. I knew it would. Just didn't know to what extent. It's just like, you'd think it'd be common sense, right? Like, you would just, I would have to imagine you'd think, okay, if I'm going to the gym and I'm going to lift, I should probably have shoes on. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
An unsportsmanlike conduct.
Personal foul, number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a horrible call!
All right. 10 minutes left in the show. We are going to close out with a little baseball talk, because the baseball race is heating up like you wouldn't believe. And Cubs lose last night to the Pirates. Brewers beat the Cardinals, so the Brewers are within a half game for the NL Central lead. Both these teams are going to get in the playoffs, just a matter of which one wins the division and which one's got to play in the wild card game. And then you got the Dodgers, who are in a battle with the Rockies for that last spot in that division. So Cubs have Quintana on the mound today against the Pirates and Ivan Nova. So Q goes for the Cubbies. And then Cubs got Chris Archer killed it last night. Yeah, Dodgers have a half-game lead on the Rockies. Cubs, half-game lead on the Brewers. So those two races coming down to the end. As far as wild card goes, though, you got Milwaukee up 3.5 games, and then you have Colorado, and then you have St. Louis a half game back. So really it looks like between Milwaukee and the Cubs, one of them is going to get that top wild card spot. It's going to take a lot of L's for one of them and a lot of wins for the other to knock out of the wild card. And then Rockies in second place, half game up on the Cardinals. So Colorado Dodgers, whichever one of them wins the division, the other one goes into that spot, and there's only a half game up on the Cardinals. It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting in the NL. Definitely exciting to watch down the stretch. Playoff baseball is pretty fun. I enjoy it. Regular season baseball is okay too. It's not out of this world entertaining all the time, but it can get pretty good sometimes. Trying to look here to see who the Cubs have coming up. I know there's a lot of Cubs fans in the area. I'm curious, and this one was sent in to me by Mike in Huntertown. Mike, another loyal listener, got a lot of loyal listeners on the show today. He wants to know if the Cubs are gripping, and wants to know what will be the higher number this weekend: Matt QB pressures / touches, or Cubs runs or hits. Okay, it won't be Cubs hits. That's gonna be a huge number just because people hit the ball. Cubs runs, though, that's a saucy, semi-sneaky, snarky comment by Mike in Huntertown. Definitely not known as a Cubs guy, from what I know, judging from what he sends into the show. So let's look at the Cubs coming up this weekend, because that's interesting to me. Cubs have a series. This whole computer thing is really starting to grab my goat. We'll say Saturday and Sunday. Oh, it's Cardinals at the Cubs. You got Mikolas versus Hamels on Saturday, and then you got Flaherty against Montgomery, who just got beat last night. Bad, who's got shelled last night on Sunday. I would say the Cubs score a combined 6 runs in those 2 games. So you gotta come. So okay. So if I say, or we're gonna do the math on air here, because this is a juicy little prop bet that Mike in Huntertown has going for me right now. So let's say if the Cubs score 6 runs. If the Cubs score 6 runs, so far Khalil Mack has a total of 13 tackles, 4 sacks. I'm looking for touches because for some reason that stat's not popping up here, and it's about to make me mad. Come on. Efforting. Come on. This is not that hard. I mean, 3 forced fumbles. He's got a forced fumble in each game so far. That's something. These stats are ridiculous. I mean, I knew they would be. Maybe do they not keep track of QB pressures anymore? Is that a lost art? Unbelievable. All right. Do I think that Khalil Mack can get 6 tackles? Yes, I do. Do I think that he can add in some kind of pressure or hit? Absolutely, I do. I mean, he had 5 tackles, last game? Okay, I'll take Khalil Mack, more tackles / QB pressures than Cubs runs this weekend. That's your special pick of the week. Good luck finding that anywhere else on any other show. I think the Cubs win the division. I don't know why I say that. I just feel that way. And the Brewers get the wild card, but a lot can happen. All right, we got to close up shop here on Next Point Wins. Just to recap today's show, Tiger Woods, Ryder Cup coming up this weekend. Check it out. Purdue beats Boston College. They're going to keep that rolling and beat Nebraska on Saturday, in my opinion. Wear shoes at the gym, everybody. Please, wear shoes at the gym. Because without shoes at the gym shoes shouldn't be created. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science. Whatever you do, everybody, let's better ourselves this weekend. We're going to better ourselves. We're all going to go to the gym. We're going to wear gym shoes. And anybody we don't see in gym shoes, You're going to verbally ask them, would you like me to drop a weight on your foot? Don't just do it. That's rude and that's mean. But you're going to verbally ask them. And you know what they're all going to say? No. But it's going to trigger in their brain, wait a minute, maybe I should have gym shoes on in the gym because that's what normal people do and that's what people should do. This has been Next Point Wins.